It cost $1,800 then. I have no idea what it's worth. I don't even think I've got it insured. It should be insured.
This is a copy of the one you saw in Sarajevo?
No.
Yes. Sheila, this isn't a copy
No.
Which one?
of the Sarajevo?
The big one is the Dubrovnik.
What?
The one that's there, that's the German, that's the Darmstadt Haggadah.
Oh,
That's
Darmstadt.
Darmstadt.
The smaller one, I've got it in the den,
Sheila's absolutely right.
which is the Sarajevo
That's
Haggadah.
the Darmstadt.
Are you
The other
gonna
one,
finish
I'm
it?
finished, thank you. The one we saw, the one that we had an interaction with, the story that you remember.
Can I
So when-
go?
Was,
Can I go
Yeah.
get that one?
Sir,
Yeah,
the
it's
Sarajevo
on the
Haggadah.
little
Now,
table
you,
in the den.
Kendall, are going
It's in a white.
to within about 100 miles of Sarajevo.
Remember the kitchen?
We were, Sheila and Bobby and I were in Sarajevo with another couple, very close friends of ours, the Schreibers. We had a driver. We had hired a driver and interpreter. There were 5 of us in the car. One of the towns we visited, first we stopped in Dubrovnik, and we went to Split. You're gonna see that. Then we went to Sarajevo. We went to the synagogue.
This one.
Ah, yes. We went to the synagogue. They had divided the synagogue horizontally in 2. It was very, very high ceiling. They put a floor so that the synagogue was down below and the social hall, newly created, was up above. Social hall for the Jewish community. When we were there, an elderly woman, she must have been 70, who was very old. I just turned 80. And she said, "Do I hear English spoken?" And she talked to us for a while. Her husband had been a doctor. They had applied 3 times to be allowed to leave the country and denied because the country felt that the doctor could still contribute to the benefit of the people. And she said, "Now, you're very close to the Sarajevo Haggadah." So we said, "What's that?" She said, "It's a 14th, I'm not gonna have salad there. It's a 14th century Haggadah. Of course, it's a single manuscript, illuminated. It's a treasure. It's hidden away about 10 miles from here being Sarajevo, in a Sarajevo National Museum. Go and look at it." She said, "Now they're gonna tell you that they don't have it." They have it, it's there. So the 5 of us set out in the car, and we get to the park. It's unkempt, there are many buildings, we don't see any cars. We finally go to the largest building, and because the men are walking faster than the women, we arrive at the building earlier, we enter, and there's a long corridor with closed doors. I'm not gonna have any dining.
I know.
We knock at the doors, there's nobody there. We finally come to one door where there's a woman who we talk to. And the translator tells her, "We've come there to see the Haggadah." And as predicted, the woman said, "We don't have it." We said, want to talk to your boss. He's not here. We want to talk to his boss, but we know it's here. So finally, she goes away, comes back and escorts the three men, only because the women had not come up yet, into a private office. Man is sitting there with an eye patch in one arm. He obviously fought in one of the wars. And he says through the translator, "Who are you? What organization do you belong to? Why do you want to see this?" The country had just voted in the United Nations that Zionism is racism. Had voted for that proposition. So we had to make up a story at the instant to try and explain this wasn't for political or propaganda purposes. We said for tourism. We want to see if this is worthy of encouraging tourists to come to the country. So he said, "Come with me." And he takes us from his office into a living room style room with sofas. Now there are 4 men. We've got the director, the interpreter, the 2 of us. The women still haven't found us. And the woman walks in, the secretary, receptionist, walks in and hands us a 600-year-old manuscript. I'm holding it in my hands. And the director says, "Be careful with the pages. Be careful, I'm holding this treasure in my hands." The colors were brilliant. It was as if it had been printed, or it was a manuscript. As if it had been done just before. Manuscript means it was done by hand, not by machine. There was only one copy in existence of those pictures. I hand those pictures, the book, around to my friend Herb Schreiber. The woman walks back in and tells the director something, and he leaves with the woman, and the translator says to the 2 men, "The secret police are here. We don't have our passports. Our wives somewhere in this building, in another building, looking for us, have the passports in our purses." The translator is shaking.
Why would the passports have mattered?
I'm sorry,
Why would passports have made a difference if the secret police are there?
we want to know who you are. They want to check you out.
It could be a spy.
They're
if you don't have a passport.
They're going to kidnap you.
That's
Just
gonna
gonna-
destroy.
2 minutes later, the women
We're
walk
videotaping
in.
them.
Now at least we've got passports to show that they're Canadians. The secret police have nothing to do with us whatsoever. Everything calms down. We spend half an hour. We look at them. We go back to Toronto. On Spadina Road, north of St. Clair, there was an embassy. Honey, what country am I talking about?
Well, you were talking about
Where is-
Yugoslavia.
what's the name of
Oh,
Yugoslavia.
Yugoslavia, yeah.
There's an embassy from Yugoslavia. I go to the embassy with a client of mine, an older man. And we meet with the ambassador. We say, "We want to give you money. We want you to put this book into a climate protected, moisture protected enclosure. It's a treasure. Same questions. Who are you guys? What propaganda do you want to spread? Who do you represent? We had told him, by the way, we were with the York University. He said, write me a letter with your proposal, which we did. Unfortunately, I never kept it. A year later, we get back a letter from the government of Yugoslavia that says, the socialist government of Yugoslavia does not need gifts from foreigners to protect its national treasures. Total turn down. In the meantime, we told friends of ours, go and see the Haggadah. If you go to Dubrovnik, it's a hop, skip, and jump. Our friends go, they want to see the Haggadah? Sure. It's on display. It's in an enclosed case. It's humidity protected. It's heat protected. 5 weeks, 6 weeks ago, there was an article in the newspaper that the National Museum of Sarajevo could no longer protect its treasures and had given the Haggadah to the Jewish community to be put someplace else to be protected. At that time, this newspaper article said the Haggadah was only on display and available to be seen 4 times a year. They did have a replica that they kept to show people. But the real one, the only one, the hand-held one, was locked up, protected. That's the story of Bubby and I with the Sarajevo Haggadah